Did you know that 10% of Victoria's population is employed in the tourism industry? And these numbers are growing every year. Hi, I'm Nora Arice. Welcome to Camosun Today. In this show, we'll look at 2 hospitality programs offered at Camosun College. This isn't the typical sunny weather we associate with tourism, but in this, the off-season, students of the Tourism and the Hotel and Restaurant Administration program receive their training in the fastest-growing private industry in Victoria. The demand for well-trained people in the hospitality industry is on the rise. The industry is booming, and the market for supervisory positions is growing. There is a need for people who know the industry and have a professional background. Tourism is a profession, and the opportunities are expanding as British Columbia becomes the destination choice of more and more visitors. I spoke with Melissa McLean, the instructor of the Tourism Certificate Program, and learned a lot more about a career in tourism. Who is coming to you to study in this program? What are people's backgrounds? Are they students right out of high school? Are they people who have long time experience in the tourism industry? Can you tell us?
Well, we have a mix of people participating in the program. One of the strongest components would be the person who has worked their way up the ladder, if you will, in tourism to the point where they are now a frontline supervisor, but have learned a lot by trial and error along the way and are seeking to be assured sometimes of the way they do things, and other times to seek out perhaps a different, a better, a more enlightened way. We do have as well some people from high school, but I do stress that we are looking for people who have already some background in tourism. So it would mean that they would have had to have spent a couple of summers working in a tourism-related job. We look at about 1,000 hours of related industry experience. And we also have an element of career change people, because people realize that tourism is really a very exciting field, and for many people it's something they're looking to, and so this is an exploration time for them.
What are the goals of some of the people who are entering the tourism program? Do they want to be hotel managers or head housekeepers or caterers? What is the goals of some of these students?
Well, for everyone it's very different. There are many people that are quite intrigued by the accommodation aspect and perhaps to be a hotel manager someday. There are others who are interested in owning their own restaurants, working perhaps for a conference facility, being an event promoter, and a lot of people running their own business. The idea of entrepreneurship is a very amenable idea in tourism. There's lots of opportunities. About 80% of tourism is made up of small business operators. In terms of opportunity in Victoria, it really is boundless. Tourism is the largest revenue-producing industry in our community. And at this point, to give you an example, last year 2.85 million visitors came to our community. And if you even look around the community, you can see that growth by the new Hotel Grand Pacific, the renovation at the Empress, the renovation at the Laurel Point, the new hotel going at Songhees, the attraction proposal at St. Anne's Academy. Looking at physical development alone, you can see that the opportunities are really boundless. As well, you can look to expanding transportation links through Stena. Clipper just purchased yet another vessel. And really, the opportunities are literally boundless here.
So there's lots to be said for the industry as a whole working to change that image, that it is an honorable profession, as in Europe, where it is a lifelong career. So in a reply to the Laughlins, I would suggest that, yes, it should be much shorter than the sample reply that we read, that it should apologize for what happened that evening. It may mention as a point of fact, this was not the norm. We were severely short-staffed that evening, but it should not go into complaints and excuses, complaints about the staff and excuses about only if this hadn't happened, everything would have been wonderful. It should not admonish the Laughlin's for not stepping forward that night and saying something.
What about the approach of '94 in the Commonwealth Games? How is that going to affect tourism in Victoria and these people who are coming out of the program?
The Commonwealth Games itself is a 2-week event. The real benefit to us in the tourism industry of the Commonwealth Games, in my opinion, is the exposure it will give to the Victoria community before the Games, during, and after. And what that will mean to us is that we will have challenges to stand up to, because people will assess that we are first and foremost a beautiful destination, but a destination must be more than that. It must have professional service providers and professional managers in the tourism field. And I think that would say that the opportunities are, that the Commonwealth Games has opened something up, but the Games itself are just a small piece of that picture for us.
Mm-hmm. How about the benefits and the rewards, the perks of working in the tourism industry? From personal experience, what can you say?
It's fun. That's number one. Getting to work with people. It's both challenging, but it is rewarding to see a smile on someone's face after you, as someone within the tourism industry, has done your job to the utmost and has made the difference, because really tourism is all about satisfying people's expectations to have a great vacation, and when you can do that, you feel really good.
Where are some of the former graduates of the program now employed?
Throughout the city, there's several in deluxe hotels, such as Chateau Victoria, the Hotel Grand Pacific, at the Royal Scott, some in the transportation area, such as with Stena, in attractions, for example, at Fable Cottage, Craigdarroch Castle, at the Travel Info Center, we practice what we preach, and two of the former students at the Victoria Conference Center, Barb Clemenhagen is one in particular.
The whole program is designed to be part-time, so it allows individuals to have their own life and have fun without just being dedicated to this task at hand, reading books all day long. It's organized to be more of a hands-on learning experience with the people you're with, so it's a lot of group activities as you learn, which makes it a lot more fun for people. Rather than just everyone coming into a classroom listening to a lecture, it's people coming into a classroom and discussing issues. The way the courses are also designed is that they're short and intensive, so that you get one course at once or 2 courses at once, and then you'll move on to another 2 courses, rather than taking 6 at once and trying to juggle them all and figure out, well, what does this have to do with this? I mean, I'm taking accounting and computers, and then I'm taking organizational behavior. Where is this all connected? My favorite course was marketing. Just for me, that's something that I really want to do, is be able to sort of sell a product. But the way it relates in tourism is you can't just say, here's my hotel, buy it. You're selling an image, you're selling a lifestyle to people, and that's what's really neat about tourism. You're not selling just an item, you're not selling Joe Schmuck's toothpaste, you're selling this lifestyle to someone, and this makes it much more difficult, but a lot more fun to try to figure out what the people want. What I'm doing now with the Victoria Conference Center is acting as a site organizer, which is basically an on-site supervisor and almost a helper. I determine the needs of the clients once they're on site and ensure that they have everything they need. What we're given is a function sheet. We ensure that everything that they've asked for is there once they get on site, and any other things that they need, they receive. We oversee what the contract workers are doing within the conference center, so making sure that the audiovisual equipment arrives and that it's up to this level that the client had requested. Make sure that the room set is correct, and just make sure that the overall image that the conference center is projecting is the one that we want it to project.
The Hotel and Restaurant Administration program is different from the tourism program, but relates to the same industry. Andy Siebert talked to Doug Cliff, Coordinator of Tourism and Hospitality Management at Camosun College.
Just in an overview, what does the Hotel Restaurant Administration program offer that, say, an on-the-job situation doesn't?
Well, we try in the Hotel and Restaurant Management program to offer the best of both worlds. We try to combine good business administration training with good practical experience, both in operating the Dunlop House restaurant, in operating pub, in doing practical courses, and also in doing the co-op component of the program where students actually go out to get work in the industry.
What are some of the first-year courses offered then? If you join into the program, what can I expect as a first year, the first semester?
Well, we have a wide range of courses. We try to introduce the students to a range of practical and business courses. We're part of the 2-year business administration program at Camosun College, and so initially we try to introduce practical courses and business courses. A lot of the heavier business courses are in the second year, but students start off by doing courses such as accounting, introductory hospitality accounting taught by Estelle Inman, which gives them some basic hotel and restaurant type of accounting, as well as learning the theory of accounting. We do an introductory business course within the business division. We'll have a lot of excellent instructors from the business division that come in to help us with hotel and restaurant administration and teach programs within our program as well. We have food preparation program taught in the kitchen at Dunlop House, and the students by the second semester actually get to operate the Dunlop House restaurant. They do the cooking and the service, and it's quite exciting because they actually get to manage the whole restaurant operation, do the purchasing, the accounting, and they have to actually break even or make a profit, which provides them with quite some good experience in managing operations and seeing how it really works. The pub class too is important because that brings them together as a team as early as the second week of school and forces them to operate the pub and really get some hands-on experience working together.
Can you tell me a little bit about the mixology course?
I think the mixology course is one of the most interesting courses in the program for those who are interested in wines and alcoholic beverages. Last year we had Tony Yang, the famous magician, teach the course. He used to run a bartending school, so he's a really exciting entertainer, and the students were enthralled. And then at the beginning of the second year, we take the students on a wine tour of the Okanagan, and we just came back from that. The students get an opportunity to look at several wineries and how the wine's made, as well as the agricultural research station. So they learned quite a bit about wines and beverages. How
many stations do you have in the Dunlop House during, say, the simulation period? Do you have somebody doing dishes? How's that work? The students move around in the Dunlop House to various positions. They move around from dishwasher through 3 or 4 different cooking positions right up to chef. They move around in the service area from waiter through to dining room manager, and they also work as purchaser or cashier and controller. So they get to do a little bit of everything, and through the 10 weeks or 12 weeks that they have in the Dunlop House, they will have an opportunity to be chef, and they'll have an opportunity to be restaurant manager at least once. Tell me a little bit about the food preparation courses in the first year. What kind of things do they learn specifically in that? Well, we always start off in the food preparation courses with Food Safe, which emphasizes making sure that everything is clean and sanitary and that we don't have any problems, and our students don't, when they go out into the working world, have any problems with food poisoning or any nasty things like that. So we start off with that, and do that for the first couple of weeks, and then go into knife safety, and then start with the basic sauces and soups and build up from there. So by the end of the first semester, the students have enough skill to, at least under some direction, to operate the Dunlop House restaurant, which they do very successfully.
This is Business 180. And Business 180 is the first 4 semesters of food labs taught to the hotel restaurant administration students. Over the course of the first 2 semesters, the students learn basic food preparation techniques which will enable them to operate the Dunlop House restaurant. As this is a management program, it is only a very small part of their program. And since our students come from an incredibly wide background or variety, it's a good introduction. We feel it's very important for the students to get a well-rounded knowledge of the industry. As managers, it's very, very difficult to make decisions if you're in a management capacity on areas that you have no practical experience in. That is to say, if you've been a bus person or a waitress all your life, how can you possibly understand the integral pressures of, say, the kitchen? Or vice versa, if you've been in the kitchen, how can you understand the associated pressures of serving a table and an unhappy customer?
We don't want to have too much emphasis on cooking, nor on hotel operations or on business. We want to make sure that students know a little bit or a lot about a lot of different things. And so we cover enough cooking to make sure that they feel comfortable in the kitchen and they can talk responsibly to chefs and other people. But they're not going to be chefs at the end of the 2-year program. They're going to be rather people starting out on management careers who know enough about cooking, enough about hotel operations, enough about business to become supervisors and managers.
Tell me a little bit about the hotel operation course in the first year. How do you go about teaching that aspect of the program?
Well, we start in the first year with the basic front desk operations and touch a little bit on housekeeping operations in hotels. We've just introduced a new computer system for hotel operations, one that's used in several thousand hotels in North America, so that's quite exciting. The students get to actually learn to check people in and check people out in a hotel environment, but they do it in our computer labs. So if they do have an opportunity to work on the front desk of a hotel in their first co-op period, they'll already know quite a bit about computer operations and how that works in a hotel environment.
I'm working on a hotel information system, and it is devised to show us how to run a front desk system. And it lets us make up reservations, and we put them into the computer bank, and the next time when we come into a lab we can recall the reservation and we can change it, and then we can also check people out and check people in. And it's really interesting because this means that when you are in future able to go into a front desk and run a system, you know exactly what the system is like and what it is doing. So you can just put it in just as if you're booking in a client or a customer into the hotel.
How does the co-op program operate in the program? Do you guys find work for the students, or do they work with you in finding something suitable and then take off for a little while, or how's the co-op program work?
Well, we have a full-time co-op programmer working at the college who handles hotel and restaurant administration. That's Brenda Taylor, and she does a wonderful job in finding jobs for the students in various areas. The students, many of them find their own positions. We get many hotels and restaurants writing into us, asking us whether we have people. Many of the students go to places such as Banff, Lake Louise, Whistler. We've just had 2 students who've come back from working in Switzerland this summer, and they spent 5 months there. We had 1 student go to Japan, and of course many students stay in Victoria, Vancouver, and southern Vancouver Island. So they have a really wide variety of experiences both in hotels and restaurants.
We have 2 co-op sessions. We get to go on a work term. Some people went away. A couple of people went to Switzerland. One went to Japan. I stayed here, but I wanted to go away, and I intend on going away in January in our second work term.
Within this program, there are a good cross-section of academic classes combined with hands-on type of work, which
Dunlop House is the vehicle for that, because we actually run the restaurant from this location. As you can see, I was in the process of training to learn to be a chef in the back here, but even though that's not going to be my field, it's still an integral part of this program and of anyone entering with this program.
Do you feel that this your program is going to increase in enrollment over the next little while? What do you think about that?
I think that the program's going to increase in enrollment over the next few years, because hotel and restaurant and tourism generally is a vibrant and exciting industry, and it's getting more popular all the time. Tourism is becoming one of the most important industries in the country and in the province, and we need more and more trained people all the time, and it's really a career of the future. We're really looking, hotel and restaurant people and tourism industries generally are looking for more and more trained people all the time. It used to be that you could go and start in the bottom of a hotel and restaurant and work your way up. And while you can still do that in many places, it's not as prevalent as it used to be. People are looking for good professional training in all careers, and they want to make sure that people know a little bit about computers, a little bit about accounting. They want to know that the people know something about hospitality law, and they want to make sure that the students that they're hiring are going to be competent to make sure that the company doesn't get into problems with personnel, with the law, all sorts of areas. And so we're looking for professionalism.
To give me an example of some of the graduates from the program, what are they doing right now? Some grads that you can remember.
We've got graduates all over the place. I remember one graduate in particular, David Mintz. He went off to start Camille's restaurant within a short time, or actually while he was working in the program. He and Joan Head. Joan Head is now the supervisor for the Beaver Foods operation here on campus. Margot Bracewell is now gone to the Oak Bay Beach Hotel.
As a class, we really worked as a unit, which was one thing that I liked dealing with. And in one of our classes, we were doing a simulation of hotel restaurant. Each different group had a restaurant, and we had to add in certain figures and make certain arrangements with advertising, which would then, once the figures were put into the computer, it would spit out the answers as to whether or not you did the right move or the wrong move, and that was really good. It was helpful, especially working within a team, because you have to deal with that for the rest of your life, dealing with other people and working as a team. I remember one time cooking at Dunlop House, and I was the chef that day, and my chef's special blew apart, and James Hamilton, who was the instructor at the time, saved the day, and we used to have some fun times at Dunlop House. Yeah, testing everybody's different types of foods and dealing with some of the clientele there. We had a lot of good times in the restaurant. I had an opportunity about 6 months after I graduated to go over to Europe to work in a hotel in Switzerland. So I went over with quite a few fears and questions about what I was getting myself into. And that the program over there when I was working in the hotel was working in the kitchens. But I also had a chance to see, again, how the other operations worked in a different country. Language was a bit of a problem because most people spoke German and French, and I had enough French to get by, though, which was rather nice. But my whole setup over in Switzerland had been arranged by Albert Van Sitters at Camosun, and he had made the contact for me, and which permitted me to go over there. And I spent 4 months in the hotel in Wengen, and had just a wonderful time working. It was hard work, a lot harder than I've ever worked since then. But I made lots of really good friends that I still keep in touch with, and had a chance to do some skiing in the Swiss Alps, which was really nice. Okay, right now I'm the catering manager at the Oak Bay Beach Hotel. I've actually just recently stepped into this position, and it's very challenging at the moment. I see lots of ways that I can, make improvements to the system and put in my own finesse into all the bookings and whatnot. Basically, I'm involved with
organizing all the banqueting events, the weddings, Christmas parties, as well as any of the meetings that come into the hotel. We've got quite a few different function areas, and I have to know where to allocate people and the best way to make their meeting work the best and their wedding work. And my experience at Dunsmuir Lodge, which is where I've spent the last 2 years, has really helped me out in that respect. You can learn a lot by working in the industry, but you certainly need a really strong basis of where you've come from so that you know exactly, you can understand what the procedures are and why they're in place. And the program at Camosun reinforces the structure of paperwork and it makes it so that you understand the reasons that you're making the answers that you're giving.
If you are interested in either the Hotel and Restaurant Administration Program or the Tourism Certificate Program, contact the admissions office at the Lansdowne campus of Camosun College. They will be happy to start you on your way into an exciting career in the hospitality and tourism industry.
We hope you enjoyed this show. Stay tuned next week when Camosun Today profiles students pursuing non-traditional careers.
This show has been presented by students of the Applied Communication Program. If you have any questions about the show, please write us at Camosun College, 3100 Foul Bay Road, Victoria, BC, or telephone 592-1113.